I'm Jake Sanderson.
I'm Tim Stützle, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
Your Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are listening to the Postcast, presented by the Locked On Senators podcast and, of course, the Glebe Central Pub. Make sure to check out the GCP at 779 Bank Street and let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. On game days, get 10% off your order at the GCP and head to the website glebecentralpub.com and get your tickets for the Send Shuttle $17 round trip to and from the CTC. And all I have to say is thank goodness this game was not at home. Senators lose 5-0 to the New York Rangers, and if it wasn't for the video coaching of Mike King, this is a 7-0 game. Ottawa had 2 goals relieved because of offsides. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller and Jack Richardson. Pillsy, what's your biggest takeaway from that debacle?
Oh my God, where do we even start? This was a big old slice of humble pie for the Ottawa Senators and Ottawa Senators fans. We were riding high, having a lot of success since the new year. Levi Merrilainen was looking like a star, and you think you're going to come into Madison Square Garden, the game of the night, really. So much implications in this one, and you think the Ottawa Senators are going to have a much better chance at this than they did. They come out absolutely flat and get dominated in the scorecard, 5-0. No really even close opportunities for offense. The closest opportunity was that Ridley Gregg jam play that ended up causing a huge scrum, which we'll get into, but just nothing going on here other than successfully getting goals called off for offsides and then one for high sticking. So a terrible night for the Ottawa Senators and fans watching. Like you mentioned, Ross, thank God this was not at the CTC.
Jack, what'd you think of that?
Humble pie is the best way to put that. That was a game that, it wasn't a scheduled loss. I think a few of the earlier ones this month, which we'll get into, just the roller coaster that January's been. Some of them were, you look at the opponent on the road, such a tough road trip. You're like, yeah, that's a game they're probably going to end up losing. I didn't circle tonight as one of those. And especially coming off that effort in New Jersey on such a tight turnaround, that was really disappointing. I think they started poorly on Sunday against New Jersey, but they found their game and it just never came. The Rangers were hungrier. They wanted it more. And all of a sudden there's another team in the mix for the wild card. So luckily the Sens don't move down today. They stay where they are, but it is rock solid with 7-8 teams in there now. So it makes losses like this hurt that much more. Like, you got to find wins where they happen. Other teams aren't losing games. So it's amplified. And then when it's a bit of a stinker like that, it doesn't feel any better.
Feels like this team can't lose just normally. Like, when's the last time they had a 3-2 loss where they push at the end? It's just a complete stinker. This was very reminiscent to me of the St. Louis game, where it was just, there was nothing going. They had a couple opportunities in the first period that didn't even result in a shot on goal. Like in the first period, their 3 best chances, they got 0 shots on. They had 2 power plays tonight, had 0 shots on goal, 0 shots on 2 power plays. To say that this would be an unacceptable effort would be, I think, an understatement. I think that the team didn't show up. Levy held them in early with a couple big saves. Highmore's turnover to Rempe right off the bat. You're like, are we just going to juggle the puck all night? And look, the ice didn't look great, but that's for both teams. And one was able to clearly do just fine with that situation. So if I'm an Ottawa Senators fan right now, you're just glad it is 2 points at the end of the day. You regroup, you get to Boston for an even bigger game, divisional game on Thursday. But to lay an egg like this, disappointing. I don't think even starts to scratch the surface on what we saw for 60 minutes. It was a nothing burger. Shouldn't have even shown up to the rink if that's how you're going to perform. And I can't think of one good performance outside of the video coach. He's the only guy who showed up to work. I tweeted out at Sen Central. I said, I want a live cam of the video room versus whatever the hell this is on the ice. It's disgusting. We can talk about the top players not showing up. We can talk about the slumps for all these top players. We can get into how the power play is a complete joke. AHL level power play. I bet you the Belleville Sens could have got one shot on goal in 2 opportunities. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that for now. Pilsy, what do you want to pick up on?
Yeah, I mean, let's start with how bad this start was for the Ottawa Senators, because that really kind of laid the groundwork for how this game was going to go for them. And sure, you had a bad start up against the Devils, but you find a way. But there was just no energy, no push. Like Tim Stützle, we love him, and he has that creativity that when he's patient, he can make exceptional plays, but sometimes you just got to shoot the puck on net. And it was, I was going to pull my hair out watching Tim Stützle hold the puck, hold it, try to dangle around, and then just lose it or force a pass. And Ross, my key to victory today was get shots on net. The New York Rangers give up 3rd most shots on goal average per game in the league, and the Ottawa Senators only managed 20 measly shots, none on the power play, like you mentioned. Shesterkin, this is a guy that's starting to figure his game out, but I thought if you throw a lot on him, create chaos in front of the net, you're going to be able to get him off his game, and they were able to do part of that. They were able to shake up Shesterkin big time, not just mentally, but physically as well. But there was just no kind of offense. Like I can't even, other than that play where the scrum ensues after, I can't even think of one good shot that I was like, that could have been a goal there. Like there was just nothing that led to offense or created momentum from the Ottawa Senators point when they were attacking or on the power play or anything. Hence the 5-0 loss.
Jack, what did you see on the power play? Like they didn't even get a high danger chance that just missed. No. Like there was nothing.
I actually, I'll put my hand up. I got excited for a second when I saw Giroux out there with the top unit because I didn't know that Norris was out for the game. So I thought that they actually tried to shake something up on that top unit, which has remained intact all season. They haven't tried anything. I thought Giroux was okay on it, to be honest, but
they snapped back the draw.
He's snapping back the draw. So that's a good replacement for Norris out there. But they're losing momentum. They're all standing still. I think what they were good at when the power play was clicking earlier in the season was moving around. I think they prided themselves on not having set positions. Like how often would you see Tkachuk go up top or Batherson, or they would switch spots and it confuses defensemen and then you get chances that way. But it's more of the same. And I've been concerned about the power play for about a month now. Like they haven't looked good. The offense is completely dry. They've been shut out 4 times in January and it's the 21st. They lost to the St. Louis Blues 4-0. They got shut out by the Sabres on home ice, by Washington on home ice, and then again tonight. So they've had a good stretch, but in the games like Saturday against Boston where their defense isn't top notch and it isn't one of the best in the league, because you're going to have those nights, you need your offense to bail you out, and you need to have confidence in your power play, which had 2 opportunities in the second period when it was a 2-0 game. If you get a couple power play goals here, or like maybe even one, whole different ball game going into the third. But the fact that they're just able to get nothing out of it, and in fact, I think it's killing their momentum, is really concerning. I would love to see a sledgehammer taken to both units. Just try something. It doesn't mean taking away ice time from anyone. It just means trying a new look because they're predictable. Like they're way too predictable out there. And it sucks, man, because why can't they have it both ways? Why can't they also play good defense? Like the power play should be the time that they're licking their chops being like, this is our offense. This is the time that we don't need to, worry about the defensive zone every shift, which they are at 5-on-5. So just really concerning. And again, like when you're talking about the power play, you're talking about the top guys going ice cold. Brady Tkachuk doesn't have a point in 8 games. That's a problem. They were winning. It was masked. He was playing all right, mixing it up. But when they're losing games like that, you need more out of the captain and the top guys. So it starts there. I don't even know what I'm seeing specifically, but boys, it's not even just the power play. The penalty kill stinks too, still. So when both your special teams suck, you're going to have games like this. And unfortunately, they got bottom half of the league, I think, in the penalty kill for sure. The power play is trending that way. Just not pretty.
Yeah, it's been tough. And with the power play, I think the one thing I'm seeing is we see so many teams that are able to create offense from that player that's down low beside the net. And whether that's starting that tic-tac-toe kind of bumper play where you got the guy in the half wall, passes it to the guy beside the net, and then he gets it out to the slot. When the Sens get it down to that guy down low, there's not a guy in the slot ready to receive that quick bang bang play. Or we saw, I think it was Will Cooley, he's got the puck beside the net, and there's not that guy open in the slot. So what does he do? He sees he's got time and space, he pivots his body, and now he's got a free lane in tight on the goalie, and he scores like that. Like, it just, that's the one thing I was noticing from the power play. And people in the chat, or you guys can tell me if you think I'm off with this, but the Senators don't use that player beside the net as a position of strength, whether to set up that pass or to just get that free ice if they try to take away that pass. I wasn't noticing them use that as an advantage. I mean, they didn't even really have enough zone time possession to be able to use that as an advantage. But that's one thing when I see other teams' power play, it all kind of cycles through that guy there. And with the Senators' power play, it doesn't seem to do that.
All they do is just try to go up to the top of the umbrella, down to the side, down low to Batherson, cross ice feed to Tkachuk. That's their
the
only
cross
play.
ice feeds are kind of a waste of time, in my opinion.
The worst part about that play is they don't even try it from the other side. Like, you've got a lefty and a right. It's always through Batherson. They tried it 3 times today and it wasn't there. Like, they got to have other options. And to me, that's why I'm saying it's got to be new people out there. Get me Shane Pinto on that unit. Mix it up. Just throw a sledgehammer. They do it at 5-on-5 every game. Like, there's new guys playing with new guys every game. I know tonight was because of Norris going down, which we can touch on a little bit, holding him out for precautionary reasons after he did come back on the bench and he looked okay. But that's why I'm saying take a sledgehammer to it. I'm not giving up on anyone, but they play both units pretty evenly. Why not mix it up? Why not get Giroux, Pinto on that top unit with Stützle, with Sanderson, and with Tkachuk, and then mix up Batherson and Norris or something? Just do something on the special teams because quite frankly, it's losing them hockey games. That was a game, like I mentioned, it was there. It was 2-0 after some miraculous challenges from Mike King, and credit Travis Green too, still pulling Levy, I think, in that scenario. I think that was the right call. I know Forsberg didn't look great after, but you need something. You could see him on the bench trying to get the group going because at that point, it was effectively 4-0. They just got 2 taken off the board. So I don't know why they haven't touched the power plays, and they do it at 5-on-5 every night.
All right, as everyone wants to do, let's relive this one. Sens lose 5-0 to the New York Rangers. They get outshot 29-20. The faceoffs, 54.7% for the Rangers, and the power play for the Rangers goes 2 for 4, both coming on a 5-on-3, then a 5-on-4, but the same sequence there in the third period. Blocks, 17 for the Rangers, 13 for Ottawa. Sens out hit New York 23-19, and the expected goals at 5-on-5 somehow is 51.2% for Ottawa, although they had 82% of the expected goals in the third period, which I still don't agree with. Of course, that's at 5-on-5. As I mentioned, both power play goals for the Rangers in the third period were on the power play, although I believe it was 2-0. Yes, it was going into the third period. The Matt Rempe goal, first of the year. Like, that's insult to injury, letting that guy get a goal. Just a complete non-factor otherwise, and you let him get a breakaway of all things. Just sloppy, unacceptable. We've got the audio from Travis Green. We'll play that after. We'll get to the chat as well. The Postcast is always brought to you by the Glebe Central Pub. And let me tell you about how the Glebe Central Pub is always there for you at 779 Bank Street. Let them know on Sens game days, LOSP sent you. Get 10% off your order. Whether you're getting the nachos, Pilsy, you're a big chicken club wrap, aren't you?
Yeah, I love the chicken wrap. Get it with some fries. That's some good fuel for when you're heading out to the Sens game, and you got to have a full belly. Otherwise, you're paying full price at the CTC. Don't do that. Get food at the GCP.
And get your tickets for the Sens Shuttle, $17 round trip to and from the CTC. They've got tickets for upcoming games, so make sure to get yours. Like this upcoming Saturday, Sens Leafs. Be among Sens fans on the way to the game and get your tickets at the GCP Shuttle. The GCP, where the vibes are free. I hope everybody who's at the GCP is having an extra one for me. That's at 779 Bank Street.
This episode is also brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. From the first whistle to the final drive, FanDuel makes the NFL playoffs even more exciting. Just 4 teams left. We're getting down to the wire. The Super Bowl is in our sights. And right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win your first bet. That's $300 to keep the action going. The FanDuel app is easy to navigate, and the variety of bets keeps every game exciting. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly. No waiting around for your winnings. Those green numbers are in your account ASAP. Whether you're betting on your favorite team or just looking to add some extra excitement to the playoffs, FanDuel has you covered. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today and get started with $300 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make this NFL playoffs unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
All right, welcome back to the Postcast. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller and Jack Richardson. Pillsy, am I a bad son?
A bad son? To which father?
No, to my mom.
Oh, Patty? Uh-oh, what's going on with Patty?
At 9:17, so about the start of the third period, I get a text saying, just started watching now. No spoilers, please. And I let her watch that game without knowing.
Yeah, maybe that's one where you spoil it for the sake of your mom there. Patty deserves better than what the Sens gave her.
AHHHH. That was as close as I got to spoiling. I wanted to let her know not to waste 2 hours of her life, but yeah.
You know the Interstellar meme where like Matthew McConaughey is just banging on the thing like, no.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah, Sens fans and Vans say no spoilers. I will. I'll be sending flowers. Well, they're actually coming here on Thursday, so we'll get to watch the game together, and that's where I'll continue this conversation. We will get in, again, the struggle. I don't think we have to break down goal by goal. They were bad.
We don't have time for that, Ross.
If you dare. We're going to find out a lot about this team on Thursday. I'll tell you that much. Jack, how you feeling going into that game?
It's massive. It's massive. Points aside, division opponent aside, this team's shown an inability, I should say, to forget about bad losses. They're a streaky team, and they have been in the last little bit. 6 in a row, win 1 and 7, then win, get points in 6 straight, and now this. So we'll see what happens here. But it's a massive game. Massive. I know we talked about Travis Green, and I touched on him a little bit, like his challenges and everything. Very curious. And I know the chat's been saying this. Very curious to hear or listen to his post-game comments because, Ross, you remember against Buffalo, we were not happy listening to Travis Green after that game. I'm very curious to see what he says after this one.
I think it's going to be short.
He looked a lot more upset on the bench tonight than I felt he did in that game. I will tell you that it is exactly 1 minute long. So why don't we hear now from the head coach of the Senators, courtesy of their YouTube channel.
Yeah, not good enough to win. Quite just simple.
Certainly based on what we've seen in the past, an anomaly here from what we got tonight.
Yeah, we've been playing some good hockey. But we weren't good enough to win. Like I said, I thought we fought the puck all night. I didn't think we were good enough with the puck. And, I thought we could push a little bit, and I thought we did at the end of the second. Obviously, when they get the third goal, and then the penalty started.
Can you give us an update on Josh Norris?
No, I'll know more tomorrow.
How much might be easier said than done to make changes when you lose a player like that? How much did that affect what you guys were able to do or not do?
He's a big part of our team for sure, but guys have got hurt all year, and that's not an excuse for not winning.
Is there a secret or a simple solution to finding some offense?
You got to be better with the puck. I know that we weren't good enough to create any offense tonight with the puck.
All right, I actually like that a lot better than I did the Buffalo game there. Short, sweet, and if he's that, let's call it. All right, I actually like that a lot better. Where the heck's that coming from? Jesus. I guess it automatically went to our live stream after that. Apologies. Hearing me once is enough. You don't have to hear me twice. But if he's talking that short in the media, I think the boys are hearing it in the locker room. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he was giving it to them on the bench, as he should. A lot of wake the F ups. And yeah, I mean, he said it. They weren't playing good enough with the puck to win. There was a lot more he could have said. He felt like he was kind of close to snapping there, but Travis Green knows better to do that in a situation like that. But
well, we always hear the term biting your lip. He was literally biting his lip at the start of that interview.
yeah, he was getting a little jittery there. Yeah, I can't blame him. Like that is a coach's nightmare. I mean, there's no other way around it. And to have to use 2 challenges on goals and get them and still lose 5-0. I mean, I don't know. This is up there with the worst game of the season. I know there's the Buffalo game. People were saying in the postcast or
There's
in the
too
chat.
many contenders, Pillsy. That's my problem. There's
well,
way too many to pick from.
You know them better than most, Jack. Obviously, the Buffalo one was terrible. The Vancouver one where we're all spiraling out of control. But I'll have a spin zone at the end of it. But there really is nothing to look at this game and feel like you can build off this or anything like that, because
Nothing.
I don't know, Ross, are we doing Send Central standouts? Because
No, we're doing
3 of them.
We're doing a double boots on the ground report again. We've got
Our guys.
The thrill of victory, the agony of defeat. They all come together. We're going right back to the car cast where we welcome on Avi and Shmuel. A little bit of a different atmosphere in there tonight, eh?
Yeah, you could say that. You know,
What did you guys see, and how different was it from the game on Sunday against New Jersey?
Yeah, night and day. I mean, obviously
literally
the first period, literally, that's true. Day and day. I didn't mean to say that, but yeah, I mean, the first period, was, probably just as bad as Sunday, but yeah, they never got anything going. And you mentioned that at least it wasn't at home, but we had to endure it in person. And my opinion is there are no more annoying fans out there than New York Ranger fans, because they have the unique combination of arrogance and lack of accomplishment. I mean, you think they've won like 7 Stanley Cups in the last 10 years. These guys have won 1 Stanley Cup since 1940. They've had 20 years of amazing goaltending and have won nothing. And it's just, it's so frustrating to lose to them. They just, whatever. It's just,
get them, Shmuel, get them.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, you guys touched upon the game, like the atmosphere there, like we couldn't even see the Sens fans because there was no cheering. So we couldn't see the few Sens fans pop up. There was nothing to cheer for. It was quite a brutal performance. I was even saying Shesterkin didn't have to do anything. There wasn't any chances. Just, nothing really, nothing really going for them. It was just, they didn't show up.
No show. Hey, you guys showed up. You guys did the whole round. So you're 2-1 on this New York, New Jersey swing in the last week, though. So
yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna. We actually just got home, so yeah, I'm not gonna complain. You know what? 2 out of 3, and the good news is that 5-0 is the same as 1. It doesn't matter. It's a loss. And I was saying to Avi, would you rather lose this way, or would you rather lose the way the Bruins did the other day? I think, you know what? This is just a stinker. It's just one of those games, and it is what it is. I'm it's disappointing that I had to sit through it in person, but and then of course you hear, he's going to be on the Rangers. Brady's going to be on the Rangers soon. Oh, come on. These people think that the entire NHL exists to give players to the Rangers. It's just
They're the American Leafs. The Rangers are the American Leafs. I think that's been established.
I think that in some ways they're worse, but yeah, I guess I call them the American. At least Montreal, they've won 20-something cups. Okay, you give them a little bit of credit, but
Yeah.
And by the way, Madison Square Garden. Now that I'm ripping on the Rangers, if I can keep going, if you don't mind, like the most famous arena, maybe, but of the 3 arenas in the tri-state region, it's my least favorite. It's not like they jam the seats in there, so it's not particularly comfortable. The concourse is tight. The ice is usually crap. It's just it's a hunk of concrete in the middle of Manhattan. It's just not.
Traffic's bad too, Shmuel?
Oh yeah, it's we took the train, so yeah, it wasn't. But yeah, it's whatever.
I just got one question for you guys. Back to the Sens, because we could stay here forever and rip the Rangers. Who do you guys need to see more from? You went to 3 road games, obviously 2 wins, but low scoring. Like not a lot of offense out of the Sens. So maybe one guy from each of you. We're doing the opposite of Sens Central standouts tonight.
You can go first.
I'm not going to take the obvious Brady because that's obvious. I really think Batherson, he's been playing really well defensively, especially I think it was a couple games ago where he made that really good play towards the end of the game, or was it overtime? I forget. Really good defensive play, but he's gotta just do more with the puck there. I mean, no one was shooting tonight. I mean, it was like they were allergic to the puck. Yeah. Like you got to shoot more, and Batherson has a wicked shot just like Stützle. So I think Batherson's got to step it up a little.
Yeah, and look, it's hard to say that Timmy needs to be better because he tries hard, he tries to be creative, but he also has to shoot the puck. I mean, they had those couple of chances in the first period where he was just point blank in front and he was trying to pass it to Gaudette. So I think he's the superstar on the team. He's got to take it on his shoulders, and he's got to actually he's got to shoot the puck more. It's just, I know you guys talked about that already, but it's on him to do that.
Well, yeah, and you can even go into the numbers. 9 points in Tim Stützle's last 18 games. Like for a middle lineup guy, that's decent numbers, contributing. Yeah. But when you're the superstar of the team and paid like it, you got to be leading the puck and really making plays. So hey, appreciate you guys battling through that and coming on for a Boots on the Ground report. We always appreciate. Any final thoughts before I let you go?
I was gonna do Mike King for my Sens Central stand.
Yeah,
I know.
Good one.
It happens to be the first goal. The second, like when they went into the zone, I was like, that looked offside to me, and sure enough, it was offside. But I mean, the Ranger fans, I'm not going to get into it, but they were the refs didn't decide to, the video review is the video review. The refs didn't decide that it was offside because they decided.
Well, clearly they missed the calls both times.
Right. Yeah, they were on their side.
Yeah. I guess my final thought is, despite all that, I'm still optimistic.
Yeah.
And if you would have told me, in the middle of November, this is where we would be, January 21st, I would have taken it. Yeah. So
I got one more for you guys since you were in the building. So the Ottawa Senators are down 2-0, but they've had 2 goals disallowed due to good challenges. And then Travis Green puts Forsey in. At any moment, did you guys feel like, okay, sure, they're down 2-0. It's not an insane deficit. They got some luck with the challenges. Now they got a new goalie in here. Did you think that was going to get a spark and maybe at least, like, I don't know about coming back and winning this game, but at least making it a little bit tighter? Or did it just feel like things are going from bad to worse here and it's going to slip apart very
No,
quickly?
I was like, wow, they're down 2-0 and it should be 4 or 5. And I didn't think that it was, obviously the second goal Levy wants to have back, but it wasn't really a Levy issue. I thought it actually would work. I thought they would. I don't know if they were going to win, but I thought they did. Get something.
Yeah, I think for me it was when they switched to Forsey, I was hopeful, but then seeing the play not translate there. At the end of the day, when it was 2-0 going to the third, I had no hope because they haven't shown that they could do anything that entire game. I mean, there were no signs of life really the entire game. So why would I be optimistic going to that third period, even though it was within reach?
Not only that, but they also had that great play. I guess it was Sanderson who kept the puck out of the net toward the end of the period. So I'm like, all right, they dodged a bullet, but no, it didn't happen. No, all right.
Well, boys, hey, you got 2 out of 3. It ain't bad, and I appreciate the optimism. Little Rangers slander. Avi, Shmuel, always appreciate you boys, and we look forward to doing this again down the road.
Absolutely.
Playoffs, baby.
Playoffs.
All right, there they go. Avi and Shmuel Bulka will get right to another Boots on the Ground report in just a moment. But first, Pillsy's got a word from one of our favorite sponsors.
Yes, this episode is also brought to you by our friends over at SelectQuote. In sports, having a winning strategy is everything. It's how the best teams make it to the Super Bowl, the World Series, and the Stanley Cup Finals. Well, the same goes for life. Having a strategy like life insurance from SelectQuote can protect your financial legacy and keep your family's future secure. SelectQuote makes it easy to find the perfect life insurance policy. As one of America's leading insurance brokers with nearly 40 years of experience, they've helped over 2 million customers find $700 billion in coverage since 1985. What sets SelectQuote apart is their personal touch. Unlike other brokers that offer one-size-fits-all policies, their licensed agents tailor coverage to fit your unique needs. If you're in good health, you might even qualify for same-day coverage of up to $5 million. No medical exam required. And it's more affordable than you'd think. You can get up to $1 million in coverage for as little as $20 a month. Get the right life insurance for you for less at selectquote.com/lockedonnhl. Go to selectquote.com/lockedonnhl today to get started. One more time for the people in the nosebleeds, that's selectquote.com/lockedonnhl. SelectQuote, they shop, you save.
Welcome back to the Postcast. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller and Jack Richardson. Let's head right back to Manhattan where we find George, who was at the game tonight. George, what's going on, buddy? Tough one, eh?
Yeah, not exactly the most fun one to get out to. Did go to the last two in the city as well, the Islanders and Devils. Can't say they were great outings either. Somehow found a way to win the game and kind of show that they were growing as a team, I guess. But this one was, like you said, just like you said, a complete no-show. Complete no effort from everyone. It almost looked with 10 minutes left in the third like they just gave up. They were playing with 3 minutes left when there were 10 minutes left in the game. It was a bit of a tough watch there for sure. And
So,
Rangers fans were giving it to us too.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how was the atmosphere inside the arena?
I mean, they were having a great time. I'll give them that. Lots of singing and chanting from the Rangers faithful, but not much for us. They loved their Igor Mahomes moments out there. I thought he kind of stuck the leg out a little bit, but
Yeah.
other than that, they had a lot of reasons to be excited, I guess.
And I'm glad you brought up that you're at the other two games and you felt like it wasn't their best efforts, obviously. And we were very clear on today's LOSP that it was an Anton Forsberg win on Sunday. But what would you like to or need to see more from them to have some success going forward?
Well, to use this game specifically, they were playing frantic. They were scrambling around. As soon as things weren't going their way, they were whacking at pucks. They were bouncing around. They weren't really tape-to-tape passes to each other. I've heard some things, maybe the ice at the Garden's a little soft, but still can't be using that as an excuse if you want to be a playoff team moving forwards here.
Yeah, it's the same ice for the Rangers. So it's tough to use that one as an excuse. George, what was the Sens fans' presence like at Madison Square Garden?
I got to say, that's one of the few positive things I'll take away here is that, I've been living in this city for 2 years now, and I'm starting to see more and more Sens fans showing up to these games. It's like our numbers are growing in the city, starting to get a bit of a bigger showing at these games. So starting to see more of those jerseys pop up. Definitely nice to see, although would have been nice to see better product as a result of that.
So you saw 3 games here in a pretty short span. I don't know if they do that often. They go to all 3 right away. So it's probably a pretty cool little week and a half, I guess, for you. My question is, in those 3 games, do you think they were kind of similar to what you've seen on TV just the whole season? You think there was anything special in these 3 games? Like, not a ton of offense from the Sens. Anything you want to see more? It's kind of the same question you just got asked, but what else do you want to see from the Sens?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, especially because I'm going to be a little negative in spite of 2 wins here, but they kind of came out flat-footed in every game. Yeah, they were slow. They were slow in every game. They seemed tired. They seemed like they were out of it from the beginning. They weren't really getting pucks on net effectively. Like in all of these games, I think they had under 10 shots in the first period in all 3 of them. And that's kind of not a good way to get started. And yeah, they kind of made good pushes and came back towards the end in terms of shot totals, but analytically, they kind of weren't in it. The deserve to win-o-meter on these was definitely leaning the other way for each of these 3 games, most being this one. So really just settle down, stop playing frantic, stop trying to do everything individually. I felt Stützle tried to do a lot by himself. He kind of got frustrated it wasn't going in, and it's been a tough stretch for him in general, but He's got to kind of slow down a little bit, stop trying to make those fancy plays, whether it be to himself or to Amadio. He tried to make a few passes a few times, but it's just been a little bit tough to see them lack that energy that they had in previous games.
Yeah, it sucks for you going to these games, even though you did get 2 wins, but seeing the game on Saturday at home, and it's like, oh, they played so well in that one for big stretches. So final question for me, George. Really appreciate the insight, man. This has been awesome. Well, I dare you to have a Sens Central standout in tonight's game.
I mean, you kind of stole my pick from earlier. I was going to say the Sens video coach, but the one, yeah, unanimous pick today. But if I have to go with the skater, I think I'm going to have to go with Giroux. There were a few moments where I saw him skating off the ice, really slam his stick, get loud, make some noise. He's clearly being that vocal leader on the bench, kind of the stuff that we got to capture as being at the game. You saw kind of the emotion coming out of him. I'm sure he's frustrated with what the last 3 years have transpired as here when he's been with the Senators, but it's at least good to see a little bit of emotion out of somebody today.
So to get it clear, George, your Sens Central standout is Giroux because he was the most pissed off about how things went.
Essentially, gotta find something here, right?
No, I like that. I mean, that fits with how the fan base is feeling after this one. But hey, it's 2 points. 2 points. You move on. You go to Boston. Are you heading to any other games the rest of the year?
We'll see. I think there's another Devils game coming up. Don't really plan on doing any heavy travel, although it might be nice to sneak out to Boston for one of these upcoming ones.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, keep us in the loop, man. We'd love to have you back on. Love the insight. And thanks for doing this, man.
Happy to. Thanks for having me. Have a good
All
one,
right.
guys.
There goes George. Boots on the ground report at Madison
Nice.
Square Garden. Let's get some final thoughts. We got so much juice to save for tomorrow's LOSB. Love getting these boots on the ground reports. Pillsy, I'll start with you.
All right, guys. I know it's been a tough one. Everybody's down in the dumps here, so I'll try to put on my best positive Pillsy impersonation here. I will spin zone this game in one way, Ross. I'm going to say if they're going to lose, I'm glad it was a total beatdown because that's going to piss guys off. George talked about it. Claude Giroux pissed off. I want to see Brady pissed off. I want to see the coaching staff pissed off. Like I would probably rather a 5-0 beatdown like this rather than just like a 3-1 loss. Like you gotta really have this make Sens players look in the mirror and be like, we're in the playoff race. We're still in a wild card spot. If we let too many of these stinkers happen in a row here and string along and lose all that momentum we just got, we're never going to forgive ourselves when we look later on in the season and if they find themselves out of it. So I hope this is a big enough beatdown that it provides a wake-up call because these games up against Boston and Toronto are huge. Obviously, the Boston one for the standings, but going up against the Leafs, Battle of Ontario, you're going to be hosting it at the CTC. We know the blue shirts are going to show up. They're going to invade our barn. So you got to bring your A game to these next 2 games, and hopefully this causes a wake-up call and we don't see anything close to the performance and the no effort from these guys in the next ones.
Sens fans in Van, bring up Crooker. Now, as much as we love Crooker, I think the next move you'll see is David Perron re-enter this lineup, and that goes right into my final thought. So thanks, Sens fans in Van, for getting my brain turning here. If Tim Stützle is going to insist on passing the puck all the time, he needs a better winger than Adam Gaudette. I appreciate the 15 goals. Super impressive, way overperforming, but they need a little more on one of his wings. I get why Giroux's there. He's taking the face-offs. He's the veteran presence, good board play, all that. They need someone who is going to help in those areas. And maybe having Gaudette there being just a shooter, maybe that's a problem because Timmy's like, I got to get him the puck. That's how he can make an impact. With David Perron, he makes impacts in different ways. When he's at his best, he's grinding down low and creating extra zone time and making space for Stützle to maybe be able to pull off a few of those moves. So I think that's the first fix is get David Perron back. He skated this morning as an extra. Good to see him back as a regular participant in practice. So looking forward to that. Sens fans in Van also mentioning the power play fix is learning someone that actually works and learning something, I should say. And Wally builds on that, saying time to play Stützle the full 2 minutes on the power play, just like other star players around the league. Jack, what are your thoughts on that?
Don't hate it. it'd be something. Try something. I don't know. They gotta do something on the power play. My final thoughts for the postcast tonight are that we are here for the good, the bad, and the ugly. And there has been honestly all three of those this month alone. So it's been a hell of a season, but even hell of a month for the Ottawa Senators. So hopefully they can bounce back, snap out of this. Just make this a one-off. Make this a nice 3 out of 4 stretch. Beat the Bruins on Thursday. Everyone will forget about this game like it never happened.
Yeah, hey, when you get to these meaningful games, they hurt more and they're more joyous. So you have to live and die each day. Tomorrow is a new one. And you'd rather lose 5-0 to the Rangers than you'd rather lose 5-0 to the Boston Bruins on Thursday. So get it together, come out with a better performance, and we need a lot of hands on deck for that game Thursday in Boston. Thank you so much for everybody for making us a part of your game day routine here on the Postcast. It truly means so much to us, and we appreciate the Glebe Central Pub for being a part of it as well. For tonight, we say goodbye. For Jack Richardson and Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. We got a Sen Central citizen on tomorrow's LOSP and deeper thoughts on this game, rationalized thoughts after a night of sleep. We'll talk to you then. For the boys, I'm Ross Levitan, and this has been the Postcast presented by the Locked On Senators podcast and the Glebe Central Pub. Make sure to head to the Glebe Central Pub for all of your needs. In the heart of the Glebe, it's great food, awesome drinks, and atmosphere to match. And make sure to check out the Sen Shuttle for just $17 round trip to and from the CTC. It's the GCP, where the vibes are free. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.